we have just opened up a can of worms with the Pelakka Wurm. Gain 7 life. Here we go. I love this worm. There we go. 29 life. Just nothing fancy. This is just the epitome of just big fat worm. It's just trample, gain life. When it dies, draw a card. Life's good. Like, what else could you really want? Ladies and gentle mages, civilians across the multiverse, welcome back to another episode of Man Man, and today we've got a juicer for you. Before we dig into the deck, because I know we got worms, of course we're digging into the deck. Let's just dig, you know what, screw it. Let's just dig into the deck first before we get into, I guess, like a little bit of a channel update here. But we got the worms here. We got Golgari Wurms. I'm going to build the most competitive version, in my opinion, of Golgari Wurm. So obviously this is not going to be like, you know, a tier 1 deck, life on the line, we should play this deck. Probably not, but I think this is actually a lot more competitive than you think. Let's go ahead and start off with our lovely Golgari Wurms. Pelakka Wurm, that's right, a big fat worm. This thing costs 7. This was back in the game when I first started playing around 2012. I don't know when the first printing was, but Pelakka Wurm has been around for what seems like an eternity. It's very simple. This is what green is to me. It's just big fat creature, very simple. Trample 7/7. When it enters, gain 7 life. When it dies, draw a card. So you get a little bit of everything here. It's nothing fancy, but it's a huge worm, dear to my heart, and you absolutely gotta love it. And I've got the Quilled Greatwurm. Now this is a new Foundations card. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, put that many +1/+1 counters on it, which is pretty crazy. But much like the Balustrade Wurm, which we'll get to here in a second, from the graveyard, it can come back because you can remove 6 counters among creatures you control in addition to paying its other mana cost, so like a 6 or whatever. But big new fat worm, we're gonna play it. Of course, we got Massacre Wurm. The Massacre Wurm is an absolute classic. Speaking of Pelakka Wurm, I don't know when the original printing of Massacre Wurm was either, but either way, I got the alternative art here. Don't remember the alternative art. I'm not gonna lie. I don't remember how I got this, but creatures you control, your opponent's control, excuse me, get -2/-2 until end of turn. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, it's gonna lose 2 life. So absolutely love the Massacre Wurm here. Of course, we got Balustrade Wurm. This spell can't be countered, trample haste, and as long as you have delirium, you can return it back to the battlefield, which is pretty nice because we do have a little bit of like Blanchwood Prowler, like that kind of mill stuff here. We have Liliana. We do have like different types of things to kind of fuel our graveyard, and we do have a decent little curve here in terms of like so we can activate delirium. We got 1. We are a little bit low in the 3 drop category, but I think it's a small price to pay for salvation. Of course, we do have the Overlord of the Balemurk to kind of get you going on turn 2. So turn 3 is a little bit awkward here, but the delirium is typically not that big of a deal in my opinion. We do have the Vraska, Vivien Reid, and the Innkeeper's Talent kind of thing here. So you want to be a little bit of Planeswalker heavy, especially with the Innkeeper's Talent, because the Innkeeper's Talent does one of 2 things. The Innkeeper's Talent, you know, obviously you can go for level 3 and get up to a Planeswalker and get them nice and juicy for free-ish, kind of whatever, get the double for counters. Or you can start putting a bunch of counters onto the battlefield, and then you can go for the Quilled Greatwurm to get back the Innkeeper's Talent. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think I said that right. You can use the +1/+1 counters, and the Greatwurm can come back, I should say. So there's also that, and then last but not least, we got the Colossal Rattlewurm. Yeehaw, partners, this is Outlaw of Thunder Junction. Absolutely love this as flash as long as you control a desert. Trample, and for 2, you can kind of ramp up a desert from your library. So I am running 4 of the Conduit Pylons. This is my favorite desert. I think this is the best desert. You get to surveil 1, and you don't really get to miss any sort of thing here. Now, you can't really go for this on turn 1 if you have like a Llanowar Elves or like a Disfigure, Duress, etc. like that, but I think it's completely fine. I really do. I don't think it's really that big of a deal here. Notice I obviously am doing best of 3 right now, so I guess let's go ahead and give a shout out to the Mana Rocks. The Mana Rocks are the patrons and the YouTube channel members that mean the absolute world to me. But considering that I am going into a best of 3 here, I think this is a nice, it's a good time to kind of address the channel here. Nothing too crazy of a channel update here. If you have been a long-term watcher of the content, you will notice I have taken a few weeks off here. I think going forward, probably can expect maybe like 2 to 3 videos a week from me. I do have to kind of accommodate my time into making more money, just being completely transparent here. Like I said, it's long term, I do have a vision for the channel. It is kind of become one of like the bigger creators and kind of go full-time, blah, blah, blah. For now, it's just going to be more of a part-time venture. I think I'm at peace with that, and I think we can continue to grow the channel. So a little bit of that. And then, of course, as like the actual content, it will be standard. And I'm not going to sit here and say, I'm only going to do best of 3, I'm only going to do best of 1. I think I'm just going to do whatever it feels good. If it feels like a deck is a little bit more fragile, like the worms here, I think I'll go into best of 3. And then if it's a little bit more If it's more fragile, I'll go with the best of one. I don't know if I just said that correctly, but I'm just gonna gauge whatever I think is like more competitive, and I think just having fun on the channel is a long-term formula for success. So I won't kind of bore you, but that's kind of what you can figure out. A little bit more of a casual pace going forward until hopefully one day we can kind of make it. So I'm going to continue faking it until I make it, but I think that's neither here nor there. But do just keep in mind that only you can help protect the Aether, so make sure to leave a like on the video. The button looks just like this, and without further ado, let's get ready to vanquish some enemies. Well, I see a bat, and if I see a bat, I see a way, so we'll go ahead and keep this. Turn 1 Restless Cottage action, go for the bat, and then a Pillage the Bog on turn 3. Seems like a pretty damn good curve to me. Alright, got some removal now. I think we're looking pretty damn good. I don't think anything can get us down. Deep-Cavern Bat, let's take a peek at your hand here. Here we go. Okay, so we got the 2 Orzhovs and the 2 Outcaster Trailblazers. I'm not really sure what I should take here. I guess it's going to have to be a Trailblazer by default. I mean, I can take care of the Orzhov. I don't really want to have them have a bunch of card draw with the Outcaster Trailblazers, so I think this is pretty much obvious. Thran Portal. Ooh. Whenever I see Thran Portal, I usually just go like, what the hell? But it's fine. Let's take our 1 damage here, and we're definitely going to be plotting the Pillage the Bog. In a kind of like deck like this, I do really like the Pillage the Bog. I don't see Pillage the Bog used a whole lot anymore, but I'm a big fan. Quite frankly, I'm a big fan of Pillage the Bog. In a deck where you definitely have, you know, especially in like, you know, obviously this being best of 3, just kind of funny. I hate to be so snobby, but speaking of plot, they're going to plot, but we have not lost the plot. I don't have a whatchamacallit, a desert, so I'm just going to have to go in for the Rattlewurm. Sometimes, most of the time, you can flash in the Rattlewurm with, you know, their pylons if we have our desert, but not now. We're just going to play it out. So here we go, Outcaster Trailblazer, a lot of Karlov Manor action here. I actually have a collector booster that I'm opening this weekend. A collector box. It's actually Murderers of Karlov Manor. Hopefully I get a Hopefully I get a serialized Niv Mizzet or a Tristani or something like that. I'll take an Invisible Ink Massacre Girl. Very excited to open that. Pelakka Wurm! Oh man, I'm very excited to open up Pelakka Wurm if I can. A can of worms. So Pelakka Wurm. Alright, we got it. I guess we'll just Pillage the Bog here. I'm not just sure exactly what I'm looking for. Okay, there's nothing really here. I guess it's just Lily, I guess. And then we just clear the board. I mean, it doesn't feel very good. So we're going to have to go for the throw. They have another Orzhov on the way, but then we do have the Urgent Necropsy. So you do want to play cards into the graveyard so that you can obviously feed the Urgent Necropsy. So I think this is fine for now. But if we can get into the Pelakka Wurm, I mean, the Pelakka Wurm is, I don't even know if I'm saying that correctly, I hope I am. But Pelakka Wurm has been a card. I started casually playing Magic around 2012, and Pelakka Wurm was there, so I can tell you this card's been around for a while. Add mana of 1 color, blah blah. They don't go for the Orzhov, which is completely fine. Assuming they're going to Valorous Stance, but even though I don't really mind this. So we're gonna get a desert from our worm here. So Ruthless Negotiation, pretty good here. Damn, I don't even know if I want to plus the Lily now, because we could go for the Ruthless Negotiation. It's close, but we could use the discard on the Negotiation for the Lily. Maybe that's probably the better option. But nevertheless, we get some more graveyard stuff. I'm not even going to plus the Lily here. No. Nope. Probably going to go in for Urgent Necropsy, or we could go in for the Colossal Rattlewurm. Snag a desert. Overlord of the Boiler Bilges. Oh, God. All right. This actually is not that bad, because the Boiler Bilges is an enchantment. So that actually works pretty well to our favor here. You can go ahead and take it back your Trailblazer, but now we have the Urgent Necropsy, and I'm feeling pretty good about that, so. Let's see. I think, yeah, we got enough. We definitely have enough to kill both of them. It's kind of closer than I'd like it to be, but that's okay. So, here we go, baby. Let's, you know what, man, I don't know if I really need the Lily. Let's just let them have the Lily. Because I actually kind of want to ramp up with the Rattlewurm. Because, like, the Boiler build just isn't doing anything. So let's actually go for the Rattlewurm instead of Urgent Necropsy for now. I would like to see, nope, let's get, no, we need an untapped land so that we can go in for the Pelakka Wurm. We need an untapped land. Here we go, baby, we got it. We are going to hardcast a Pelakka Wurm. We have just opened up a can of worms with the Pelakka Wurm. Gain 7 life, here we go. I love this worm. There we go, 29 life. Just nothing fancy. This is just the epitome of just big fat worm. It's just trample, gain life. When it dies, draw a card. Life's good. Like, what else could you really want? Here we go. Here we go, baby. The Anzrag actually is still bigger than the Pelakka Wurm. Power. Oh, speak of the devil. Oh, okay. But I think we can just go in for Urgent Necropsy. We might be able to just trample through here. I'm just happy. I'm just happy. I don't know. I got my Pelakka Wurm out here. Life's good. Like, what can I really complain about here? Restless Cottage is not great. I think we're good to go here, though, right? I mean, I can just go ahead and for Urgent Necropsy, because I do have Trample, and then I just trample through. I think that's probably just what we're going to do here. So, well, 8-4. Alright, no artifacts. Let's swing first. You know what? Let's swing first. Okay. So I have five. I can go 5 through here. So I guess we'll just target you, on drag, and then the enchantment. Whatever. I don't think this really matters here. As long as we keep the Ruthless Negotiation. I don't know. Whatever. I don't think it really matters here. This is lethal, right? So we get rid of the Ruthless Negotiation. They only have 1 red, 1 green. I mean, I don't really see... Unless they had, what, like, Tyvar Stand... Oh, boy! Alright, so okay, hey, you know what? Sloppy gameplay, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, well, the Worm's good. Hey. That's on me. That's on me. That is just sloppy as hell. Hey, this is why I've been condemned to gold. I am in gold right now. So we do sloppy gameplay like that. I guess I wasn't really figuring in the Tyvar stand. A little sloppy right now. And are we gonna lose? Am I gonna lose now? Oh, we got haste and everything now with the with that thing. So they want to keep back for the Restless. Another cottage, sure. Wow. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not even gonna lie. Again, haven't played in a while. I am back. Ish. At least on a casual basis, we will continue the channel. The channel will continue, just on a casual basis, but I am really feeling that rust. Just like, there's just something about it. There's a little bit of rust here, but it's okay. So we're not going to be able to get 2 off here. I think we're going to kill the... it's actually kind of close. Do I want them to have haste, or do I want them to have the card draw? I think I'm going to lean towards the haste, because the haste could actually finish me off with these big, huge creatures. Alright. God. So the Anzrag, this doesn't really do anything though, right? They can't have like an additional combat phase unless I block. Oh, man. I can't believe I got rid of that Ruthless Negotiation. That's crazy. No swings. Holy shit. Okay, so they're obviously scared of something. I do have a Wormy in my graveyard here. Overlord of the Balemurk is perfect. Absolutely perfect. So, yeah, this is great, right? Make sure that we always go for this. For some reason, Auto Tapper always wants to keep the Pylons, even though it just generates colorless mana. So, here we go. Oh, now we got a party here now. So, I think I'm just going to take the Pelakka Wurm, though. Or, yeah, I don't know. Pelakka Wurm seems pretty good, right? Alright, Pelakka Wurm. Then we have the Balustrade Wurm. Oh, this is looking pretty damn good, right? I think I do swing in here just because they're going to have to put up a block of some sort. No matter what happens, it's going to have to be... Yes, good. 3 lives, so they have to double block no matter what. Or the Anzrag, and I don't think they really want to block the Anzrag, so... Bang, bang, bang. Down to 1. We do get exiled, but that's a small price to pay. Next turn, we got a Pelakka Wurm. We got a little bit bailed out here. I think I do have to block the Enzrag, right? Maybe not, unless they activate their ability. If they activate the ability, then I have to, which is really not the end of the world, all things considered. If they do tap out, I just have my Restless Cottages to swing for lethal. And I won't even need the Pelakka Wurm. So here we go. Enzrag must block. Alright, that's completely fine. There's an additional combat phase, but it's dead. And we take it. Alright, it ended up well. A 6 land in hand. Alright, well, I think we can rock with this. I'm gonna go ahead and keep this just because we do have our pylons, so. Because we do have the little desert action, we can do, whenever you have a big land in hand, you just surveil. If I didn't have the surveil pylons, I'd say no. That's kind of how my brain works. I'm not saying it's correct, but that's how it works typically. Plus, we do have a removal. Let's see what we got. Alright, so we got Llanowar Elves. So I don't love this. So I'm going to go for the pylons. We already kind of committed to it. Plus, I don't really have anything to ramp up with the elves yet. So there we go. Okay. I think we're looking pretty okay. I mean, you know, got the tiny bones. Alright. It's either a cottage or a swamp. I think I'm gonna go cottage because we're already kind of behind the curse. The tap land stuff here is not really good, and of course we do top deck into another land here. That's okay. Let's go for our Llanowar Elves. I still do not remember what the art is for this Llanowar Elf. I must have done it a long time ago because I do not remember the art here. But go for the throw. I actually don't mind that at all. I'd rather them catch more land. That is really unfortunate. I'd rather them use the go for the throw on my elf than like any sort of like threat or a big worm. So more land is apocalyptically sad. Oh my god! But at least you do have the Annoy with Affliction in case they do want to go in for this Restless Bivouac. Magda. Alright, so not great here. I'm gonna let this resolve for now. Get rid of my Llanowar, that's fine. I'm gonna keep my Anoint with Affliction. Maybe I should just cast it now. Yeah, let's cast it now. I'm a little hesitant just because, I mean, they kind of like a Restless Bivouac is gonna be annoying, but and another land. What is this? What is this? I'm just gonna go for the Restless Cottage, and they can Restless Bivouac me back once they have removal. Don't you dare! Alright, Bitter Triumph. Gosh, the flood is real. See what I'm saying? Hey, we will at least, gotta remain positive, at least we got rid of another land with that pylons early in the game, because otherwise it would have been absolutely insane, but. Alright, so Battle of the Restless Cottage, or Restless Cards, not cottages. This is not a cottage, this is a bivouac. Innkeeper's Talent, honestly, not horrendous. Not horrendous, we can at least make use of it. It's not a land. I guess the bar's not very high right now, because it's not a land, so I can use it. Reach out the Schism, sure. And a Blanchwood Prowler. Okay, so we can actually set some stuff up into the graveyard. So again, you know. Come on, baby. Fingers crossed that we can snag a worm. So we do have some graveyard synergy in this deck, so. We do not, but we do get a Restless Cottage, so we don't come away completely empty-handed. The only problem is that I can't even go for the Restless Cottage, so I'm going to want to go in for level 3 on the Innkeeper's Talent here, so far so good. 3/3, got Ward. It's not going to be enough to trade with the Preacher. And it's not going to be enough to trade with the Restless Bivouac, so still going to need a little bit more help here. And a combo. Okay, I actually have not played with the Profiting Mayor here. Card's interesting. Okay. Card's definitely interesting. What's the combo piece there? I gotta let this go for now. All things considered, 2 damage is not really the end of the world here, so I think we're okay. And another land is really unfortunate, so let's get down the good land, I guess. Alright, well at least now we can at least trade with the Preacher. We got our Restless Cottage down. The flood is crazy. We need a little bit of help here. No, we don't. I'm not gonna lie. We don't need a little bit of help. I think we're gonna need a lot of bit of help. Giza the Hellraiser. Oh my god. Okay, so take your zombies. Oh god, that's not good. So I'm gonna lose 1 extra life because of the Profiting Mayor. Sure. Things are looking a little sweaty right now. So Draw your card. I think we're gonna have to block this. I mean, we're just gonna have to trade with it at some point. So let's look at Giza the Hellraiser. Come on, baby. Come on, give me a big juicy worm. Liliana. I guess it's better than nothing. Guess we're just gonna have to go for Liliana. Just kind of thin out the board a little bit here. I am at 11 life. I mean, obviously, like, it seems good because we're gonna -6 the Lily, but like, I don't know if this is gonna really be enough. So we're gonna have to split up the creatures because they do have lethal on board. A lot of times you can do like half the lands, half the creatures, or you can do all creatures, all lands to really screw them up. But I think right now, I think we're just gonna have to split because they have lethal. I can't go for Restless Cottage. So destroy evil, destroy target enchantment. Okay, well they should have done this while Lily was on the stack, because then I would have been able to -6, and that just would have been game over. But we won't tell them that. Alright, let's go ahead and just kind of split up the creatures here. I don't even know if I really could win here. So 1, 2. Buckle my shoe. Alright, and that's... I mean, that's good, right? I mean, we can still block. We can block one time with the Restless Cottage here, right? I think we're going to have to block the Giza, because the Giza, she does not have Menace. So, there we go. Right there, yeah. I couldn't block the, wait. Yeah, okay. Alright, that's fine. That'll have to do. So, block. So, I can't block you, have Menace. Whatever. Down to 4 we go. Go for the throat. Go for the throat does save us. I mean, now that we have 2 lands, I mean, why do they... It's actually pretty interesting. Go for the throat. Down to 2. Oh, baby, and a Quilled Wurm. Okay, there we go. We've been waiting for the big worm. Here we go. Quilled Greatwurm. All right. You know what? You're swinging. Hold on, why are you swinging? Oh. Why are you so... I'm blocking. No, I mean, obviously I have to, but, like, why are you swinging? Okay, Deep-Cavern Bat. Deep-Cavern Bat is at least some life gain here. I think it's gonna have to be the Shelly, because the Shelly can just pick us off for the win. Now, see, with the it's too close. If they top deck a removal, I don't want to swing in with the Greatwurm. There we go. Now we got a Rattlewurm. Okay, the worms are starting to accumulate. Now we can swing in with our creatures here, because we get the life link, so we don't have to worry about like the 2 damage anymore. If I was at 1, I would not block with the bat. I can always flash in the Rattlewurm. Here we go. Bam, bam, and now the Greatwurm. Here we go, baby. Let's juice up our creatures here. 2/2 and a 14/14 Greatwurm, and we got more worms coming. Here we go. I can't believe this match was looking all but over. Your opponents can't gain life, whatever. I think it's completely fine. I'm gonna flash in this Rattlewurm. That's gonna be game. Colossal Rattlewurm is going to join the battlefield with our lovely Greatwurm. That's literally GG. We got 14/14 with Trample. We're swinging out, and look at that. I have no idea how we pulled that off, but the worms are up top, baby. Ichiban cards. Hello. We got a pretty damn good hand here. Can't complain too much. Whenever you have turn 1 Llanowar Elves, you know what? I can't even like have this like weird guilt, because as a green mage, I mean, obviously as a content creator, I play all kinds of decks, but green is my favorite color in real life and in Magic. So having the Llanowar Elves in back in standard, you just feel like it's very necessary. So the opponent did take a mulligan. Let's go give them the friendly mulligan. Hello, everybody needs a friend. We need to get mulligan because those things suck. All right, let's go, baby. Going for our lovely Llanowar Elves, and here we go. Turn 1 Llanowar Elves. Don't cut me down, please. Fear of missing out, sure. So I wonder if it's gonna be like, there's a lot of different ways you can run with the Fear of Missing Out. I think we already have one, right? Nah, we already have one. And speaking of which, I think we do just go for the bat. The bat has stood the test of time. Ooh, Zombify. Fear of Missing Out. I They don't have anything to reanimate yet with the Zombify, but I think I'd rather just kind of cut them at the button. There's multiple different ways you can have like Fear of Missing Out. You can just go in like Delirium and just go for like more aggro and just try and really push for that additional combat phase, or you can just go in for an obviously a reanimation package, which seems to be what we are playing against. So bit of reunion, sure. I'm gonna try and dig for that, but that's completely fine. So, Llanowar Elves just makes everything so much better. So what should we do here? Mosswood Dreadknight and then just drop down the Dreadknight? That seems completely fine. Completely cromulent to moi. Yeah, sure. Get a 3-2 body down, trade with the Fear of Missing Out, and things are looking absolutely phenomenal. I would say absolutely phenomenal. Let's go slow down a little bit, but things are looking pretty good. Fear of Missing Out, sure. We're going to activate the Delirium. So at 3. And, oh, Coma! Oh, God. Alright. Okay, so Coma, additional combat step, that's fine. Definitely think we just trade here. That seems pretty good. Don't want to give you an additional damage, and then when the Dreadknight does Dreadknight things, he can just come back, so sure. Thing with Coma has Ward 4. So, as long as we have this, like, Llanowar Elves, I think we're completely fine. Yeah, it's Ward 4. So I can actually just go for the throat. Even if they do zombify it, I think I can just go for the throat it, and, like, it won't be that big of a deal. So now I'm thinking here, do I want to get down the Balustrade Wurm, tap out for the Worm, or do I want to go for the Restless Cottage? And then just kind of go in for, like, that. Because then we can go in for the Dreadknight, draw, and then play it again. I think that's probably a little bit better. Let's pull off on the Worm. Completely fine. This is almost like a little bit of like the deja vu. So just doing the same thing, swing in and then just go for Dreadknight and then block a Fear of Missing Out. So a little bit of deja vu here, but that's completely fine. Might need to go for the throw on something else. So they do get the okay, they do have the Zombify. It cannot go for the throat on the lovely Coma yet, but that's okay. So maybe it was a little bit too passive. Like I said, we didn't even get down the Dreadknight here. We didn't even get the Dreadknight down, so maybe I should have done that. So, no, let's not get cute here. Let's not get cute. So with the Urgent Necropsy, I could try to get a little cute here, but I think we kind of stumbled a little bit there, completely on my own end here. So like I said, I'm gonna say it a few. I can at least do that for at least a couple times, right? I'm in gold. You can't expect top tier play from me. I gotta get warmed back up here. Alright, let's go for Pylons here. I do like the Pylons a lot for that Surveil. The colorless mana usually is not that big of an issue. Innkeeper's Talent's okay, but I don't think I really need that right now. So, let's do this. I can count. We know this. Coma, let's just get rid of the Coma. We're tapping out here. If they have another Zombify, I just cry. But at that point, that would be their third Zombify in 16 cards in their deck. That would be a little unlucky, I think. We can take another Fear of Missing Out swing here. So I want them to kind of build up the board a little bit more. Because my Urgent Necropsy, we can kind of take care of 2 of the Fear of Missing Outs for the price of 1 card, which is very, very nice. So, Bitter Reunion. Don't love this, but this is fine. And these do not stack, by the way. I know I've had this happen before. They do not get 2 additional combat steps. They only get 1. So there you go. So I also, Duress. Ooh. Oh, that's not good. Okay, I was kind of really relying on that Urgent Necropsy, but that Duress just took the wind out of my sail. I was not really expecting that. That is pretty terrible. Okay, ooh, okay. So now, that plan kind of went right out the window. I guess I just go for Wormy. Let's go untap land, obviously, and then we just go for Wurm. Not really gonna swing in here because I gotta be kind of careful here. We just get the Dreadknight down. Obviously, swinging with the bat. Gotta be a little careful here. Let's slow down here. That Urgent Necropsy, that took the wind right out of my sails. If they do have another Zombify here, things get absolutely insane. Getting back to Coma is pretty pretty apocalyptic if that were to happen, so hopefully it does not. Bitter Triumph on the Wormy. Okay, this is exactly why we had to keep our blockers up. This is exactly why we had to put some stuff out onto the board here, because this would have been lethal without the Dreadknight. If they did top deck into removal, which they do, which I'm not really sure what took them so long to make that decision. Seems pretty pretty obvious, but nevertheless we do get to survive. Down to 4. Let's make sure we use our colorless mana. First things first, and then we go in for like what, the Restless Cottage. Yeah, I think this is fine. Swing in for you. Get our food, because we definitely want to get our food here. But the most important thing here is to remove the coma. So no matter what happens, we get rid of the meat and potatoes of their deck here. So I think that was just really, really necessary. And I can still go in for eat the food if I want to now. They've got 8 life. We've completely gotten rid of like their ceiling, like their top ceiling play. The best possible play would be just zombify Coma. Coma is gone now. I think we can kind of kick back our feet a little bit here, but I don't want to do that again because I've already made a few misplays this video, so. You know what? We do have a food token here, so I might want to just block here, but we do have a food token, so I don't think I have to do that. Let's do this first. I highly doubt they're running Lightning Strike, but that actually probably should have done that before combat. Again. We're in gold. You can't. We're in gold. Restless Vents. All right. Yeah, I think we just get the. We don't have lethal. Like we can't present lethal. We got the Restless Vents here. I mean, kind of. It's not a tricky situation, but it kind of is. I mean, they have Delirium up. They don't have a reanimation target though. So if I go for Balustrade Wurm, can't present lethal, but this is actually a little trickier than it should be here, because that Restless Vents has Menace, and if they have Fear of Missing, this is actually really close, because Fear of Missing Out gives them an additional combat step. I don't think I can swing. I really can't. Let's say if they top deck removal, and then they have an additional combat step with the Restless Vents with Menace, I actually would lose. That Restless Vents is like super sneaky. Fear of Missing Out gives them an additional combat. Yeah, I can't swing. I can't. Tricky. Here we go. All right, so they're going in for it. Restless Vents with the Fear of Missing Out. All right, here we go. Untap the Restless Vents, I would assume. And of course, this does have Menace. I'm thinking I might need to block with the Bat. Just kind of really ensure. We'll see. Hold on. We have to block the Vents. Do I chunk block the Fear of Missing Out? Do I give them the Zombify? Because they don't really have anything to Zombify. So they don't have anything here, right? No. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna give them back their Zombify. We're gonna like be extra cautious, extra conservative here. Get the 5 life. I think this is the right move. We got a Balustrade Wurm in the graveyard. There's nothing to Zombify, even if they were to do it, and now we got it. Alright, so we take it. That was a little sweatier than it needed to be, but we did get the job done. So we got either a Worm or a Restless Cottage. They have 8 life and they know it. That was pretty close. Alright, baby. We got the big Massacre Wurm. Got our alternative art, Massacre Wurm. I really, really hope we can make the Massacre Wurm work in a Golgari Wurm deck. That would be absolutely amazing. Are they gonna no, come on. Are you gonna rope me? I've got the Massacre Wurm. I want to cast the Massacre Wurm. No! Oh, alright. You see a big worm? I'm gonna keep. That's pretty simple here. So, like I said, Deep-Cavern Bat, unless your opponent is just running like a bazillion different removal spells here, the Deep-Cavern Bat stands the test of time. I mean, it's just so damn good. I'm always a little quirky. I always like to run 3 Deep-Cavern Bats instead of the 4. Just because, you know, sometimes it is a little bit grosser late game. Time moves up. We're going to go get rid of the Quilled Wurm. The Quilled Wurm can come back. It is a little harder than you'd think. Obviously, we don't have, like, a full-blown counters, but we do have with the Innkeeper's talent, so. Nevertheless, let's go in. Ooh. It's kind of weird that they have a Sunfall with, like, the Shelly and, like, reanimation stuff here. I guess it's not that weird. They're not super creature-heavy, so. I guess it'll just have to be you. I mean, so we're gonna have to worry about that Sunfall eventually. Not sure how I feel about that, but we'll figure it out. Disfigure's looking pretty gross right now. Tiny Bones, sure. Don't really love it. Another Haywire Mite. Maybe we just want to draw here. Let's not get too crazy. We're going to have to get our land drops. Land drops are typically how you win, so... it's not great, but at least we can block the Tiny Bones with our Haywire Mite. And that's Sunfall. That Sunfall is just... it just lurks in the back of your mind whenever you know your opponent has a Sunfall. When they don't reveal it, you think, oh, Sunfall, like crap. So now, especially when they have it, it's a different ball game. Tiny Bones joins up. Well, I guess I'll live through the Haywire Mite, because just figure we can just use on the Tiny Bones if they don't want to swing. Which I'm more than happy to trade here, which they do not. It's fine. Oh, down on black sources. So that is a little unfortunate. I can't go for Disfigure. And this. So let's get down the pylons first. We want to make... ooh, I think we're going to have... we can't be too picky here. Let's go ahead and do this. Take the cottage. Even though it is going to be a tap land, which is a little unfortunate, but I think this is fine. I don't love dropping down the Dreadknight again, because if the Dreadknight gets exiled via the Sunfall, but at least we have one more turn to kind of think about it. See, because if they that's what I'm saying. If they play their Shelly, they're heavily disincentivized from Sunfalling, so like kind of a catch-22 for them. Maybe we just plot the Pillage the Bog here. I kind of like it, right? Getting a little squirmy, a little risky. Oh, I should. Oh, hold on. I missed out on the bat there. That's kind of unfortunate. Go for the throw's completely fine. We don't mind that too much. Definitely miss out on a little bit of a bat swing there, but whatever. It's not that big a deal. Because there's basically no way I'm blocking with the bat. We can't give them back more removal. That feels pretty bad. Spinning Jasper Flint, so they're not getting into lands, which really helps out our cause. There goes that Innkeeper's talent. We could have used the Innkeeper's talent to really get going with the Quilled Greatwurm. Goodness, that's okay. Blooming Marsh, and let's go for the Pillage the Bog. I don't know exactly what I need, but I need something. Okay, so we got a few options here: Vivien Reid or Vraska. Or even the Rattlewurm. We can just go for the Rattlewurm. I don't know. I mean, we do have 4 left open, but the Vivien does seem to be kind of like a nuisance long term, so I guess we'll just go for you. Dreadknight, because it just died. Okay. LV. Let me just go for you. I think that's completely fine. I think again, we ended up paying 1 extra one for some reason, because the pylon for some reason gets really prioritized in the auto tapper. I have no idea why. It's a colorless land, but I think it prioritizes it like it's like a premium land, like it's like really beneficial to have that like any color, but it's not, because it costs you 1 extra. So I don't know. It's kind of silly to me, but I'm a little surprised that they swing in with the Laughing Jasper Flint, considering that we can just easily trade. It's a little weird to me. But now we do have the Vivien Reid. Hello, Vivien. I love Vivien. Hello. Let's see if we can just get some more big worms. I guess this is actually completely fine, because now we have the Haywire Mite. I actually don't know if I want to get down the Haywire Mite. Let's go for the Llanowar Elves instead. They still have not gotten into their 4th land, so I don't even have to worry about a Sunfall yet. So I think this is completely fine. Still, I mean, we could probably just take. I'm gonna block this. Whatever. We probably could just take it. I mean, that would be absolutely no problem with Vivien. But now that we're just really cooking here, I think we're gonna really pile it on. Here we go. We got 2 worms here. So we go for Pelakka Wurm, or we go for the Great Quilled. Let's go for the Great Quilled because we can actually cast this. I guess we could have gone in for the whatchamacallit. We could have gone in for the Pelakka Wurm here, but let's just push the pace here. 2 +1/+1s. Now, obviously, 2 1/1s are only going to double their power, unfortunately. But, well, they would all double their power, but this is a little bit better. But nevertheless, this is going to be completely fine. We'll just go for the throw. Absolutely nothing to get crazy about here. So Just go for the throw on the Shelly, and this Great Worm is going to get kills. I just love worms, you know what I mean? As a Timmy at heart, let's go ahead and have a little bit more fun. Vivien, let's see what you got for us. A Balustrade Wurm. The worms will just keep coming. Rex Sauce. What a name here. All right, got plenty of removal and a Balemurk. I think we can rock with this. All right, so maybe go against Control, or we go against the Azorius Reanimation deck. So either way, I think we're up for the challenge. Founding the third pass. This is definitely going to be the Oculus deck, which is honestly on game one is kind of atrocious. I'm not gonna lie, especially if we can't get into like our Ghost Vacuum with our lovely sideboard. This is definitely a little bit worrisome. I don't main deck the Anoint with Affliction, so that could be possibly problematic, but I think we'll just get down the Balemurk here. Don't really have to worry about the Go for the Throat yet. I think we just want to set up our stuff here. I actually could just leave the Colossal Rattlewurm in the graveyard to ramp up. Ooh, that's actually close. I'm not going to, but like that's actually kind of close. So middle 4 cards, I would assume the Oculus is coming out to play at some point. They always have a way, especially by turn 3. They usually have a way. So I think the plan on our end is going to be go for the throat, and then Disfigure on whatever, like they Manifest Dread or whatever. So we can keep them at bay for at least one turn. They missed their land drop. Wow. Okay. Okay. That feels pretty good. Balemurk, do your thing. We're kind of still in the same exact situation here, so I mean, this feels pretty good though. If they stumble, I mean, they don't have. I find it hard to believe they do not have any sort of like draw. I mean, they have a lot of cards in their hand. So what do they? What actually is in their hand? Maybe just like a bunch of threats. If they don't have any draw or anything cheap, I mean, that's kind of weird. Helping Hand comes out to play. That's completely fine. We are going to go in for our lovely Go for the Throat on the Haughty Djinn and keep the ball rolling. Restless Cottage is actually really awkward here because I'm going to just go in for the Colossal Rattlewurm. I don't want to say really awkward, but yeah, like, so the Restless Cottage, a little awkward there. We didn't do anything on turns 1 through 3 that well, so would have been nice to have it. Kiora the Rising Tide. This card is amazing. I definitely want to play with more I want to play more with Kiora. I feel a little bit late to the party because I feel like everyone's kind of doing this, so I want to make maybe like a Merfolk deck, like maybe actually like true blue Merfolk with Kiora. I know it's not really that synergistic with Kiora, but nevertheless, we'll make something out of it. So Colossal Rattlewurm comes out to play. We're just going to keep doing damage here. We can just keep pushing. Eventually, this Balemurk will come out to play. Gotta go for the throat in case they reanimate and everything. I am aware that they do have Negate, which is obviously problematic. Yeah, it's at least taps, so that's kind of nice. If we did have our Restless Cottage down, we could present lethal. Ooh, and I recommissioned, so now... Ooh, okay, alright. This is getting a little sweaty. Moment of truth. It's getting a little hot in here because obviously it wouldn't be that bad, but because they do have Negate, that makes me considerably concerned. Alright, so they are going to get the Manifest Dread, but we do have 2 big worms out here, so like, maybe I shouldn't be shaking in my boots nearly as badly. Another Go for the Throat. Okay, another Go for the Throat is very, very nice. We're gonna go ahead and go for this for sure. I mean, that's just the most obvious thing. Yeah, they've got a counter spell here. Excuse me, that's pretty gross. I'm sorry. Let's just swing in here. We do have Trample, so maybe they do something crazy here. Tap out, get lost. Well, that's not gonna tap them out because of the Haughty Djinn. So I guess we just let this resolve. I really would like to go for the throats here, but they've forced our hand here. They have forced our hand. There's nothing we can realistically do here. We're going to have to do this. They're going to have to just push through this counter spell, unfortunately. Nothing we can do about that. So not a gate, but now we get our other one. This is completely fine. As long as we can stop those Manifest Dread triggers every single turn, we should have a leg to stand on. bam, 7. And now we go in for a map token. Might as well make use of a little bit of mana. And then we are going to get... Ooh, Balustrade Wurm. You know what? I actually don't want to because I don't have Delirium up here. So we're not going to do that. But Balustrade Wurm can finish the game here. Trample Haze can't be countered. I mean, that's pretty damn amazing. Honestly, you could even say Heart of the Cards because that was probably the best thing on top of our deck that we can play. Picklock Prankster, sure. Don't really like it. Don't really like it, obviously. I mean, I highly doubt they could push for lethal here. That would be pretty surprising. Actually, I mean, I don't know. Could they? Here's 10. I mean, could they just keep milling and milling and milling and milling and milling? I don't think so. No, they're out of juice here. Helping Hand, Haughty, that does nothing. Effectively, because we're gonna have to end the game next turn, and they're nice and tapped out. They're not gonna swing. Oh, they do swing. A little surprising, but I guess they don't know that I have... Well, they do. They know that I have a Balustrade Wurm, so I don't know why they're swinging in here. Very, very silly on the opponent's part, but nevertheless, let's go in for a Balustrade Wurm. Kind of surprising that we actually can win this without... Whatever, doesn't really matter. I do appreciate that it's not a land, so we get a little bit of a bump here, but yeah, this is great. Doesn't really matter here. We got 13 damage with Trample, and that's going to be a good game. I can't believe we beat the Oculus deck without removing anything in the graveyard. I mean, pretty impressive, all things considered.